Hi, welcome. My name is Lois Kwa. I'm with the Adult Learning Center at the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County, and thank you for joining us for today's Lunch and Learn live session on Facebook. So at the Adult Learning Center, we provide various services for adult education, including English as a second language, resource referral, and also workforce development. So today I'm going to be introducing the JobNow resource on the Cincinnati Library's website, and more specifically, going into depth in the career resources section, and we can talk about the outside websites and also look at some things we can do with those resources. Next Tuesday, I'll be going over college prep, and this very next Lunch and Learn session on Thursday this week at noon, the manager of the Adult Learning Center, Keith Armour, will be hosting a session on Universal Class. So please join us then if you can. Right. If you have any questions about content that you see today or content that we've covered in the past, just to let you know, please feel free to reach out to us at the Adult Learning Center. We'd be very happy to help with any questions you might have. Our email address is alc@cincinnatilibrary.org, and I will be sharing that email address several times throughout today as well. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to sharing my screen just so you can see what it looks like and feels like to go into the career section of JobNow. There's a lot of outside websites that we're looking at today, so we'll also have some links that we'll share in the comments in case you'd like to go to them. And then after all of that, we'll come back to open the floor for Q&A. If you have any questions, you can throw them up in the comments section and we'll address them there. Right, so we'll go ahead and get started with that. Okay, so now that you can see my screen, let's go ahead and first look more generally at what JobNow is as a general resource. Again, the last 2 weeks we went over different parts of it, but for anyone who's new or if you could use a refresher, we're going to start on the main webpage of the Cincinnati Library at cincinnatilibrary.org, and we're going to go up to the top gray menu bar, hover over it, and select e-learning. Okay, this is the library's collection of different resources for all things virtual learning. If you have questions about any of these different resources, you can come down to the bottom here and there's going to be written descriptions of every different resource we have, which is pretty great. What we are going to be using today is JobNow, which is down here. And what is JobNow? Its purpose is to provide free online access to support resources for people during every phase of the job search process, from resume assistance to interview tips to live coaching and a whole lot of outside career resources and ways to kind of organize that process. So we are going to come here. Now, JobNow is a free online service if you have a library card. If you do not have a library card and are interested in getting one or know anybody who is, please feel free to give us a call at 513-369-6900. We'd be very happy to help. Okay, so when we click on JobNow, I put in login information, and then we come to the main JobNow career page. Okay, so there's 3 different main sections. In the 2 weeks ago, we looked at resume resources here. Last week, we looked at job interviews, and today we are going to be focusing on career resources. If there is anything you would be interested in that has been covered in the past, you can go ahead and reach out and ask any questions about any content you may not have seen or anything you see today. Again, our email is alc@cincinnatilibrary.org. We'd be very happy to help. Okay, so this is the career resources section. It has a lot of different really cool tools that can be used at different stages of trying to shape one's career or job search. So for instance, there's going to be a lot of like questionnaires that we're going to look at, a lot of ways to kind of organize your thought process as you look into applying for jobs. So it's a little different than these previous first 2 sections. The first resources that is here is going to be the live job coach. So let's say the prospect of looking into career resources or which field to investigate more or to focus your energy on is kind of overwhelming. You can click here. It's going to connect you to a brain-fused tutor, a real live human being on the other end of a chat screen. And what you can do is you can type any questions or try and share more about your situation and get professional feedback from somebody in real time. It's going to look like a chat window. So it's if you can imagine kind of texting back and forth with someone who can give you that feedback. That's what it will look like. We're not clicking on it today because the hours of live coaching through BrainFuse are 7 days a week, but they open at 2 p.m. So it's 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week. So at this time, if we clicked on this, we wouldn't be connected to the chat window. But if you go during the open hours, that will be available. Okay, so let's look at career assessments. And when we click on this, okay. So what career assessment means is that these are all different types of tools that can help you discover the type of work activities and occupations that you might like, find exciting, be well suited for, or just kind of generally be more interested in doing research on so that you can narrow your job search. They all have the same main purpose, but they're built in different ways. So we'll briefly take a look at each of them. Okay. The first one is through Ownit. Open this up. Okay. So this is through the Ownit Resource Center. This is the Ownit Interest Profiler, a self-assessment of career exploration tools. So it means that it's going to be questionnaires that you answer yourself, and then the results at the end will help you discover different types of occupations that you might be well suited for. So this is going to focus on broad interest areas relevant to somebody taking the test. And one thing that's really helpful about the Ownit site is that it has a web-based interest profiler as well as a paper and pencil, because some people work better physically rather than virtually, right? Let's open this up first. If we click on the web-based profiler, it'll take you to the screen. Once you click the next, it'll give you instructions, right, for questions, how to answer them. This goes off the basis about how you would feel doing types of work. Gives you instruction about just to focus on the feeling of liking and disliking something. And when we get to here, it will give you a list of questions and you can answer your responses to different types of work and go through. Right? So this is the web-based version. Try to get back. There's also a paper and pencil version. So this is going to give you a form that you can print and fill out. So when you click on these, it will download as a PDF, and then you can fill out the assessment, do the scoring yourself, and then get the answer. So this is going to be very helpful for people who enjoy kind of working with information that way. There's also a Spanish language version, as well as a mobile-friendly version of the profiler for different devices. So Ownit is going to kind of give a lot of different accessibility options for a personal assessment, which is helpful. Okay, now the career zone self-assessments. Again, have the same purpose as all the other assessments. Basically, you're going to answer questions about your traits, preferences, history, likes and dislikes, and it's going to give you results to suggest different fields that you might look at. But the thing that's a little different with Career Zone is that it gives you all these different options of assessments, including a financial management themed assessment, something that's more focused on your interests, work values, so different values that might be important to you in a specific job. This is more of a general one, and then this is a skills profiler. So this is helpful. It really breaks down what you're trying to assess in the first place, instead of saying that it's all one answer coming out in the end. So this is going to be helpful. It's also it's also kind of like a very intuitively designed page, so it's going to be relatively easy to read. You can see I'm in the financial management page, and it accommodates for the different areas of the country. Right, so careerzone.org is going to be a pretty helpful one for this. Okay, these are career aptitude tests. Okay, again, now this is very strongly like a career-centered assessment, where at the end the results will tell you careers they think you should have. This one is based off Jungian Myers-Briggs personality type theory, which some people use a lot of. So the questions are just going to be evaluated in a different way. They do ask a lot of questions about your personality and preferences, and then at the end of everything they would organize it that. So if you're interested in personality typology, this could be a really interesting one to reach for. Okay, and then this career aptitude test. This one is helpful because you can kind of see some of the ones we've looked at before are pretty extensive. Like, it might take a good chunk of time to sit down and work through. This one says most visitors complete the test in 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're interested in taking an aptitude test that's a little bit more efficient for time management purposes, this one is going to be really helpful. And it still looks at a lot of the same areas for evaluation and takes into account the same level of detail, but it's going to be a little bit more concise. Okay, and then with career planning, this is great. Okay, so this is another one that has different sections. This is through edu.gcfglobal.org. And we'll have the link put up in the comments too. But this divides different tutorials into different sections, including networking, career planning and salary, and if you're beginning a brand new career, and also careers without college degrees. So one thing that's really great about this website is that when you click on a section, first of all, there's a lot of different segments. So you can see maybe you've talked with the BrainFuse tutor about where you should focus your investigation, your career search, and they suggested that you are at the point of trying to use social media to look for a new work. You could come here and go straight to number 4 instead of looking through all of them. But the really great thing about this website is that when you open up a section, it offers you the option to go to a YouTube playlist. And it's going to open up their collection of all these different videos related to your job search. So if you learn really well by watching visuals and having somebody explain something to you and walk you through it, rather than maybe reading articles, this website is going to be super helpful because every single one of these sections is going to have a collection of YouTube videos, which is a really nice resource to have. Okay, so this is the career assessments page. We're going to move on to job resources. Okay, so let's say you already know what field you're interested in applying for. It's not that you're switching fields or trying to enter a new one. You just already know, you know what your skill set is, you know what you expect to make and what kind of work you want to do. Then you can come to job resources in the career section. This is divided into nationwide and local resources. Basically, it's going to be different websites that you can go to help start looking specifically for the job you want. I'm going to open up local resources to show. Okay. So we can see right now there's 5 links, one to monster.com, one to indeed.com, which is a very common website used to find job postings, jobs through Hamilton County, CareerBuilder, and the official website of the state of Ohio for publicly listed government positions. Right. So what happens is they're links that go to outside websites. So if you don't have a library card or access, or somebody doesn't have a library card, you could actually give them the name of these links to use regardless, and we'll have these links come up in the comments as well. So I'm going to open up the outside link to Indeed just to show what it looks like. Okay. So when you open up one of these, it's going to take you to the website that organizes job postings where employers list jobs. So for Indeed, you could put job title and keywords here, location, if you are focusing on only a single location. Now, if you, for people who commute, you can adjust the distance that someone is willing to commute. You can select between full-time, part-time, temporary contract work, things like that. As well as experience level, all sorts of filters that you can use, and then jobs will come up that you can see all these postings that you might want to apply for. Now, if you have any questions about using these websites and applying for jobs virtually, we would love to help through the Adult Learning Center with appointments where we can provide assistance. So please feel free to email us at alc@cincinnatilibrary.org. You can also call 513-369-6900 and ask for a My Librarian appointment through the Adult Learning Center. You'll be connected with our manager who will help connect you with someone who could help with things like job applications. Okay, so we've seen that website, and there are other websites that are all structured differently but provide the same service. So we'll just look at a couple more. So for example, this one's CareerBuilder. You can see it looks a little different in the design, but the filters are still the same. The concept is that once you know what type of work you're looking for, you can select the details related to it and then find something, and all the search results will come up. This is the Hamilton County website. It goes straight to the job listings page. It's a little bit different from the more general websites we looked at, like Indeed, Monster, or CareerBuilder, but this will be a listing of everything through the county. Okay, so that is looking for specific work when you've already evaluated what kind of field and position you might be interested in. All right, let's look at this. There's a lot in the career section. Thank you for bearing with me and following along. All right, so the Learning Library. Skill Surfer is a really great resource. This is going to provide a lot of different lessons, materials, notes, and just general. It's like an online library full of resources for these processes that sometimes you might need to do before taking the next step in getting the job you're looking for. So for example, high school equivalency tests. When we click on this, we can see that there's materials for the GED, the HiSET, and the task test, and they're all organized. So if you, let's say maybe you have worked on the GED before, but you're actually going to switch to focusing on the HiSET, you can come straight down here and you can see that these are all tailored to the exact equivalency test that you would be studying for. So you don't have to do like a general study and hope that you're really focusing in the right area. Now, this is what the preparation guide looks for. So if we open up the GED test preparation guide, there's a video. There's information about general strategies. There's how to register. There's all sorts of information. So it's kind of like an FAQ, like a frequently asked questions page, all free through the library with a card. And when you open it, it's an article style. So you can read through, get a lot of helpful information. And you can also look through here and find all the different resources in one here. Okay, so you can do that for each equivalency test. There's also, for example, computers and technology. So if you know you're applying for work that requires a little bit brushing up or review of old computer skills that you haven't used in a while, there's going to be resources for Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and also computer programming languages. And they also have different levels of aptitude, so you can go where you feel most comfortable. So I clicked on the beginners link for the Microsoft Excel, and it takes us to a whole lot of different options for how to do something. So yeah, really, really great educational resource. And then the last thing that we'll look at in Skill Surfer, we could spend all day in here, but we are going to look at adult learner resources. Okay. This is also a really great resource. At the Adult Learning Center, we provide tutoring services for people who are working on different foundational skills. It might be reading, it might be math, it might be general like critical reading and science information. And this is going to provide a lot of different skills to practice. You can see even just up here, math, reading, and writing. But what happens when we click on basic math is we get a whole library of math material, and you can see that not all of it is just written out in articles, because different learning styles can benefit from different mediums of communication. So we have videos of how to do different things. We have explanations, lots of examples. There's also material for the ASVAB test. There's more advanced skills, so you can really go to where it meets you where you're at. Citizen test preparation. In order to build on your career path, there's a lot of free information down here. And this is, again, the Skill Surfer resource through JobNow. Okay, we have a couple more links to explore. Let's look at eParachute briefly. Okay, so I think I clicked on something a little different. Oh. Okay, so eParachute does require login, as you saw. Logging in and setting up an account is free. I've done it in the past, but if you have any questions on how to set one up, you can contact us. Now, once you come into eParachute, this is similar to the career assessments that we looked at earlier, but it is going to be it's just designed a little bit differently. Now, what is eParachute? Okay. So you can see that it's kind of a different way of organizing your thoughts and different traits that you have in order to arrive at a results page. It's also designed in a way that it's kind of easier to click on things rather than read and select tiny bubbles. So there's a lot of boxes. I found this very helpful when I was filling it out myself. Now, once you come into eParachute, this is similar to the career assessments that we looked at earlier, so but it asks all these different categories of questions. Like the first one will ask about work you've done. The second one will ask about people you like. When you come down to skills, for example, it's going to, once you've answered all the questions in the way that they've designed the site, it will tell you that your top 3 rankings of skills that might be well suited to different careers. And once you finish, it will suggest different career paths you might investigate, which can be kind of fun because there might be some things that come up that seem really obvious and other things that might not, that you can then look into a little bit more. Let's look at an example of what the profile would be. So once you've completed things, it'll give you a profile listing, including key skills. Will rank them for you. So eParachute is kind of a nice thing. Also, it saves your profile. A lot of the other career assessments, it's kind of like a one-time test that you take. But this one is going to be, you can kind of save your information, do new activities, and it will really update and organize for you, which is pretty great. Okay, so let's go back to the last resource. All right, and then optimal resume. This is going to take me to a Brain Fuse outside site. And you do need an account for this. Okay, and I'll just show you. All right, so you do need an account, and when you fill out the login page, you're going to have to submit an email address and phone number to use this service. So if you don't want to do that or can't do that, there are other ways to access this kind of service using the other free resources, and I'll mention how in a bit. This is just a different way to organize kind of the sum total of the career resources available. So basically, once you've made an account and logged in, you're going to get a document center. And I'll show you, this is like a really nice way to gather all the pieces into one place, because you can see there's a place to make a resume and then manage them, make new cover letters, leave them here, manage portfolios, manage your job interviews, make websites. This is kind of like a great way to keep track of all the different documents that can sometimes be a part of a career search, but might be floating all over the place. And you can all keep it through this BrainFuse site and then come back, refer to it, and see how your see different letters that you've written, see how you can update your resume in relation to the new jobs you're looking for. So it's just kind of like a really nice way to organize it through a personal account. Now, if you don't want to make an account through Optimal Resume, here's how you can come back and do that. You might notice that one of the sections in Optimal Resume was resumes. Well, here you can use our resume resources in JobNow. Come through here, you can create a resume for free through JobNow as opposed to this site. And you can even submit it for feedback and get coaching on it through the BrainFuse Tutor service. And then same thing with the job interviews. If you want new resources, you can utilize this here. Also, if you have any questions, you can utilize the job coach through the real-time chat window and ask about managing cover letters and resumes. You can also contact us at the Adult Learning Center. Our email is alc@cincinnatilibrary.org. We'd really love to help with any questions at all that you might have. And I think, okay, so that is the career page. I think it's time we have to open the floor up for Q&A, so we will, I'll go back to not sharing my screen anymore and switch out to that. Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions after the fact, you can feel free to contact us again. Our email address is alc@cincinnatilibrary.org. And this Thursday coming up, Keith Armour, the manager of the Adult Learning Center, will be hosting a session here on Facebook, Lunch and Learn on Universal Class. So please join us for that too. Hope you have a wonderful day and take care.